Hello, everyone. My name is Abbey Griffith. I'm the owner and founder of Clarity Fitness, and today we're doing a breakdown on body positivity, what it is, and how it will improve your wellness. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and should be all full screen now. So this background image here is actually Clarity Fitness. We're located in Decatur, Georgia, which is right outside of Atlanta, just about 15 minutes from Midtown, and we're right on the main square. So if you see this building kind of back here is the old courthouse. So we're literally right on the downtown Decatur Square. So starting off, a little bit of a sobering thought. 242 times more children are getting eating disorders than type 2 diabetes, but which one do we hear more about? I start off my presentation with this to just kind of wake up the atmosphere of what's going on in the world with disordered eating and eating disorders. And body positivity is a massive component in starting to eradicate those behaviors and that mental disorder. So I really want to bring attention to these numbers to show you how common this is. It's not if you know someone with an eating disorder, but how many of the people that you know are unfortunately struggling with one. This is something that most, if not everyone, can relate to in some capacity. So I really encourage you to take some notes, to zone in and get some really awesome content about how this benefits you personally as well as your loved ones. My name's Abbey. I'm, again, owner and founder of Clarity Fitness. This is a ton of stuff about me. Really, all you need to know is that I personally struggled with an eating disorder for about 10 years of my life. And that is why I devoted myself to learning more about body positivity, as it is a social justice movement and massive social justice issue that deserves and is getting tons more attention, which is incredible. I am a tiny piece of the puzzle of body positivity, and we're going to dive into the history of it here in a bit, but it's some massively impactful things that have changed my life a ton and will change yours as well. I've got my fur children in the corner. So this is Gizmo trying to hypnotize me to feed him more. And this is Lola in a hole that she dug. And that's about it. All right. So first, diving into what body positivity is. Body positivity is a social movement focused on the acceptance of all bodies, regardless of size, shape, skin tone, gender, and physical ability, while challenging present-day beauty standards. That basically sums it up. Body positivity right now is getting a lot of media attention, which is incredible. Unfortunately, it is getting whitewashed and really starting to morph into something that it's not, or at least get a really funky reputation for being toxically positive, or just being soaked up by people who the original movement wasn't for. Like me, the elephant in the room, I am a white, cisgendered, small-bodied female, and that is not necessarily what this movement was originally for. Which I want to clarify is not to say that if you resonate and identify as any of those things, it doesn't mean that body positivity isn't for you. If it is a tool that helps you, by all means, use it, lean on it. But I do think it's doing a disservice to body positivity if we don't understand the roots and respect them and are able to have that conversation as it connects to history. Another important part about body positivity is that it connects your body to all that it does for you, your functions, everything. You watching this right now, you listening to this, you seeing me sharing this presentation, is your body doing something for you. And that's pretty freaking awesome. So we're paying more attention to what our body does for us and how it takes care of us than how it looks, or being technically able-bodied. I think that it's really important that we celebrate what our body can do, regardless of disability, regardless of gender, regardless of shape, size, everything. We need to give ourselves some credit, give our bodies some credit for the incredible things that they do for us. Next, I want to talk a little bit about body neutrality. These are just the nuances of verbiage and definitions really quick before we get into some history. Body neutrality is another really incredible tool that you are more than welcome to use if it resonates more with you. And body neutrality focuses on just being at peace in your body You're not super pumped about it. You're not unpumped about it. You're neutral to the fact that you have a body, and you're neutral to how it looks and how it performs. And you're not constantly thinking about shape, size, ability. Body positivity can feel like a really far reach for some people, including me. In that it is, if you're in a really tough place with your body, you can't look at yourself in the mirror, you really have a lot of hate for what you see physically or in terms of abilities, or have some really tough stuff that you're working through on a mental health level, then to suddenly say, I am incredibly positive about my body, which isn't what body positivity is anyway, but to try and mind that gap, it almost is just so far that people are like, screw it, body positivity isn't for me. So if body neutrality, being in that middle ground, resonates more, that's awesome. And the thing is, body positivity and body neutrality are both just working to improve your relationship with your body. So how you get there doesn't matter. It's also about improving how you vision and how you see and how you assign worth to other people, which should not be connected to their physical appearance. And that is an incredibly massive statement to make, especially in today's world. We should not be connecting someone else's worth in a negative way to how they present in any capacity. We can see all of our different lived experiences and give credit to those and build worth upon those. But we definitely don't want to be seeing someone on the street that looks a certain way and assuming that they are less healthy, or assuming that they must be of a certain class, or assuming all of these negative things about people. And that is a big, big, big part of the social justice work that body positivity is doing. Now, I can't do body positivity justice for the incredible work that it's doing in the community. I am still learning. I still have a ton more to learn. But these are just some incredible things that we need to talk about before we dive in. NAFA is an incredible organization. It's the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance, which is a big root of where body positivity came from back in the 60s. Body positivity is not new. I, by all means, am not a pioneer in body positivity. I am just a messenger talking about incredible points that people that are way smarter and have been doing this way longer than me have brought up. The roots are in fat acceptance, which is so important as I dive in more to understand how discriminatory we are in the world against weight. It has not only pissed me off, but gotten me much more passionate. Someone walked by my office as I said that. Not only pissed me off, but also really gotten me grounded in how much work there is to be done in this regard. Equity in employment, as you see in the top corner, healthcare, general treatment, clothing. There are so many different avenues, let alone all of the things that you see here in this quote of capitalism, classism, racism, sexism, ageism, that are so at play, unfortunately, against people in bigger bodies. And we need to start to have these conversations to address this problem. People that have been doing this way longer than me and way better than me are here on this next slide. My PowerPoint is angry. Hang on, not this slide. Not this slide either. This slide. And these are some incredible voices in the body positive community that have really made massive leaps and bounds. I want to make sure you can see all of them. Move my camera a little bit, but these are all incredible people to follow. These are also really cool resources. If you or someone you know is struggling, I think it's so important to diversify your feed and to start to soak up people in different bodies in all capacities, because what we see and what we start to recognize as incredible and beautiful needs to not all look like us. So we need to start to understand and widen the horizons to people that are having these incredible conversations. There are doctors, there are dietitians, there are advocates, there are authors and bloggers, and some incredible organizations that are doing incredible amounts of work and really making a positive impact in body positivity and this social justice movement to stop discriminating people based on appearance, specifically shape and size, as it relates to body positivity. So next, we're going to dive in. We're going to make this interactive. First, I want to talk about your body story. I am a body positive facilitator, which is a really, really amazing organization based out of California that merged in the 90s, mid 90s, and it is called The Body Positive. If y'all are ever interested in getting more information or learning more about body positivity as a facilitator or as a teacher or as someone bringing attention to this movement for school students or college students or communities in your area, please check them out. They're amazing. And this is one of their exercises. So I take no credit for this, pulled this straight from their resources. And what we're going to do is take a second. You can pause your video as you go through this, and we're going to write out our body stories. So first, we're going to start at the roots. This is my example. If it helps for some inspo, feel free to pull from it. Otherwise, just ignore it and create your own. It could be a flower, it could be a tree, it could be an animal, it could be a person, it could be whatever you're connected to. They recommend flower or tree. And starting with those roots, thinking about messages that you received in your childhood, in your life, yesterday, that have impacted your experience with your body. I have some on here, some not so great messages that I soaked up in my childhood, some food rules, always cleaning your plate, eating your vegetables, always making sure that dessert is last. Things that don't necessarily improve your health and are more food rule and gimmicky than actual wellness that I beat myself up a lot over if I'm not following. Personality traits that are praised or negated depending on what messages you heard from that. Denying my hunger signals. If I would say I'm hungry and it wasn't one of the main meal times, someone would be like, no, you're not, you're just thirsty, da, da, da. That's really toxic. Don't say that to yourself. Different things about posture, about always wanting to lose weight, which was a message that I received from family and friends, all growing up. And that really triggered my eating disorder and disordered eating behaviors. So those were a lot of the messages that came in when I was growing up that impacted my relationship with my body. And led to some unfun relationships with body. So that's that. Go ahead and pause that to reflect on your own, to think of which ones resonate for you. Obviously, these are just, again, examples, so don't feel like you have to pull from these. And I'll give you some seconds to write those out. All right, whenever you're done with that, hopefully you paused if that wasn't long enough, because that wasn't that many seconds. We're gonna dive into the stem. This is how you feel about your body right now. So this is exactly in your head as you are. Maybe today is a tough body image day. Maybe today's a great body image day. Leaning into that and just getting that on the paper. It's not right or wrong. It's not good or bad. We're just gonna say where we're at. I wrote on mine, I have really worked hard to develop my relationship with my body. So coming to terms and being at peace with it being an ever-changing thing. It's a teammate for me. I like my body. It takes really good care of me. And sometimes I'm mad at it. And sometimes I get insecure in it or frustrated with it. But ultimately, I see it as a teammate in this life. And I've got this body and this body only from start to finish. So might as well treat it with some respect and as a partner in this thing instead of an enemy. I do think about it as a home. Like I said, I'm living in it for a while, so might as well settle in. I do see it as mine. I appreciate it. I'm grateful for my ancestors before me that brought me into the skin that I'm in, that went through everything they went through to make me be here today. Ancestors that I know, ancestors that I don't know. And I also am, to be transparent, still learning to fully embrace it and not apologize for myself as I am. And that's an ever-changing journey. As I learn more about body positivity, as I learn more about myself, as things change, as relationships change, that's definitely flexible and fluid and something that's still worth some space. So feel free to think through what your stem might be. And feel free to pause if you need some time. Next, we have our flower. We have where we want our relationship with our body to be. So just finding what that empowered state with yourself feels like and sounds like and looks like. How do you feel about your body? How do you feel about yourself? And these were some words that really felt good and resonated for me, and things that I want to keep in mind. It's just this place of peace. It's not constantly battling if I should eat or if I shouldn't eat, or what am I allowed to have for dinner, or blah, blah, blah. Just being still and comfortable and secure and unapologetic in the space that I take up, and taking up that space without feeling guilty about it, knowing that I am enough and you are too. So what you see on here on this paper, if you have done the activity, is just a set of beliefs. And hopefully here in these roots, you can start to get present to beliefs that maybe aren't serving you, beliefs that you can start to process, or maybe there's nothing wrong with the beliefs down there, or maybe you didn't think there were, but now that they're on paper, you're like, is this actually healthy? And you can check into that. And I'm always here for resources for ways to check into it if that resonates. So now that we have gotten to where we're at with our flower, what I get a lot is a disconnection or a frustration or a pain around body image and self-image as it relates to weight. So I want to talk about that because so frequently in the fitness industry, unfortunately, specifically, and health industries, we are constantly told that weight loss is the answer, that if we have knee pain or back pain or want to be better at a sport or want to be healthier, the answer is losing weight. So we've started to challenge that in science, and there's really interesting things. We have been challenging that for a long time, but we're really bringing attention here in this presentation to those challenges because we're connecting weight as the cause of all of our problems. Weight gain is a bad thing, and your weight number could always be lower and could always be better. And that is so incredibly toxic and damaging that we really need to start picking it apart. So this really cool study is talking about finding data that shows that when we are so constantly scared of gaining, losing weight, naturally our body gains weight when we refeed ourselves, especially after a period of restriction. And then we freak out because we've gained weight. And so we try to fight to lose it again. And then our body's like, hey, no, we're not having that. And we gain, and then we fight it and lose. So you might hear yo-yo dieting, or just can't stay on track. You hear all these icky things. And what we're starting to see is that if we just let our body be, and we get to a place of an empowered and balanced, I hesitate to use because that word has been overplayed and then that becomes a food rule, but an empowered relationship with food and movement and self, we're actually in a better place than if we start this weight loss cycle in the first place. So what we can start to see is that we can question, is it obesity, air quotes, that is causing problems? Or is it our absolute fear of gaining weight that's causing problems? We're going to dive more into that. What I want to show you here is a little bit of a triangle. So I am drawing a connection here from smoking to a cough to health consequences on this bottom triangle. And up top, I am connecting discrimination, shame, poor medical support, troubled relationship with food and movement, self-hatred, and stress to health consequences and weight. So what I want to talk about first is something that everyone can understand. If someone's a smoker, we tend to develop coughs. We also may develop health consequences, such as cancer, such as addiction, such as all of these different things that are playing a part of our relationship with smoking. When we give someone who is a smoker a Hall's cough drop to eliminate the cough, we aren't actually fixing the problem, which is the smoking in the first place. So if we pay attention to eradicating this top component, we aren't fixing the root cause of what is leading to this. Now, I also want to draw attention to this cornerstone of the weight triangle triad situation. I did not say eat less and work out more. That is not what the result, and that is not the fixing of this component. That's not the answer. There's so many things at play when you're in a bigger body that I personally cannot fully understand as someone in a smaller body, but you aren't just going to resolve your issues and everything that's going on by changing your body shape and size, which also does not happen from shifting your workouts and shifting your eating indefinitely, because there's so many different things at play here. There's lots of science to support that diets don't work, that they are healthcare gimmicks, that they are really starting a toxic relationship with food in your body. I have a ton more on that we could totally dive into on another presentation. And there actually is another one if you go to the Clarity Fitness YouTube page. But the root cause isn't working out, not at all, and eating all of the things. And I think that when we think of that as what is leading to the health consequences, we are missing so much of the puzzle. And we are so very much so falling into that discriminatory and judgment-filled toxic relationship with weight and people in bigger bodies and ourselves. I think that it's really important to pay attention to the stressors, to how much pressure society puts on a specific body shape and size. That's led me personally to disordered eating and many other people before me, and unfortunately after me. We really need to draw attention to the full picture here and not dumb it down to things that can actually hurt us more. And then, like we talked about, we need to make sure that we're also not just eradicating the top. If we're just focusing on shifting that top piece, we're missing the root causes. If we address the root causes, we can help the health consequences. And if we still weigh a certain amount, we weigh more, we weigh less, we weigh whatever, it doesn't matter, because we're fixing the root cause. We're addressing the root cause here. And that's what's going to have the impact on the health consequences. So, actionable steps. I know y'all came here today to talk about what body positivity is, which hopefully you feel secure around, and also talk about steps that can really lead you to a happier and healthier relationship with fitness. One webinar will never do it justice. This is a lifelong journey, but here are some tools to start, as well as diversifying your feed like we talked about earlier, and also starting to pay more attention to these types of studies and conversations that have been going on in the body positive space for a long time. Again, I really believe that a lot of our toxic relationships with fitness and a lot of the stress and the judgment that we put on ourselves and others is based in, unfortunately, fat phobia. And if we can start to look at what being in a bigger body means to us and start to shift our thinking and recognize that it will not have a negative impact on our health, that it doesn't make us less attractive, that we aren't less worthy, that all of these things that might come up for us aren't true, and that your body can fluctuate and it's incredible in all stages and all shapes and sizes, and can be just as healthy in all shapes and sizes and stages. That's when we have this sense of peace and this lift of pressure and judgment for ourselves and others. So I really think at the end of the day, that's the root of what we're looking at. But here are other things as well that can start to shift our relationship with paying so much attention to weight and so little attention to what we need personally for ourselves and our wellness. So, shocker, start to focus on health metrics that aren't weight related. We can start to pay attention to all of these really cool parts of health in this cool wheel that I stole from Duke. Thank you, Duke. We want to pay attention to our mind-body connection. We want to pay attention to movement, exercise, and rest, which doesn't mean what a lot of people in the fitness sphere are doing, which is extremes. Movement is we see over here on this fun orange thing, bike riding, hula hooping, dancing, going on a walk with friends, going shopping. Movement is movement. Me standing up and walking across this room and walking back is movement. And for some reason, we've gotten laser focused because of the capitalism and consumerism that we've been preached to about all of our lives, from workouts and gyms and just constantly funneling us toward classes and equipment, and it has to look this way and it has to be this intense. We've totally checked out of all of the other avenues and fun things that are also movement. That's a big reason why Clarity Fitness doesn't focus on tracking and offers different classes and offers Have a Blast classes and Fill Your Cup classes and In the Zone classes. It's not one type of class, and it's not all very extreme all the time. And we encourage people to rest and to mix it up and to get outside and to do other things with fun people. That's healthy movement. I'm on a tangent. We're back. So we're working with instead of against our body. We are focusing on all of these avenues of taking care of ourselves: spirituality, relationships and communication, physical environment, our personal and professional development and needs, all of these components, and nutrition. But again, no good food, bad food. This is just self-care and fueling ourselves with what feels good to us. I feel like I'm going into so many different webinar topics in this one webinar, but if you want more on that, there's a YouTube video. But I really, really just can't stress enough that health is not food and fitness. There's so much else that goes into health. And when you're working with instead of against your body, you're listening to what your body wants too. You're not just on autopilot of this Instagram influencer said I had to do it this way, or my workout should look like this or should feel like this. We're just focusing on what you need, what feels good to you. And if you haven't taken the time to figure that out, we're going to do that in a little bit. So stay tuned. Exploring tons of different types of movement outside of a gym. Gyms are not the best or only option. There are so many different other things. I actually love it when people cancel our gym membership because they say that they've found other things outside of the gym that they just personally enjoy more. I think that's incredible because that means that they're figuring out what works for them. And there are some people, like I personally enjoy going to a gym and working out that way because my friends are here and I like the classes and the instructors are really fun. And that's awesome too, but one's not better than the other. So it's a really cool way to start to figure out what works for you. Reshaping health toward being fun, light, and positive. I remember I used to think of the word health and just my body would like tighten. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel fulfilling. It felt like rules and judgment and criticism and something that I had to just rip the Band-Aid on. That's not health. Thinking about health that way inherently doesn't make you healthy because it stresses you out. So when we start to play with that, we can pick that apart a little bit and start to play with what serves us. Stepping away from scales, trackers, and rules is another big one. I'm a huge hater of all things scales and fitness trackers. I wasn't always, because I was definitely caught up in it at one point. So I think that it's important to let yourself get to that place in your own time. But I also think that it's important to just start to call into question how much you're depending on those numbers and how much they can make or break your day. Workouts are movement regardless. It doesn't matter if your tracker says whatever it says. I don't want to trigger anyone, but in terms of burn, in terms of duration, in terms of whatever, that doesn't dictate an effective workout. Your workouts are your time to take care of yourself and to listen to your body. And scales and weight loss, we already talked about this, does not dictate health either. You can be in a much smaller body and be super unhealthy, and you can be in a much bigger body and be super, super healthy. And we forget that in the stuff that we are fed constantly. We miss that connection. It's really important to know that health and body shape and size and weight are not synonymous. All right, so body positivity in your fitness world. Let's do some reflecting again. So go ahead and put this in the chat box as it comes up. But if you're watching this recorded, be sure to just check in and take your space. You can journal about this. You can type it in your phone or your computer notes. When was the last time you truly enjoyed movement? I remember the first time someone asked me this question. For me personally, it was a dance fitness class, and I loved it, and I had so much fun, and I loved the music. The instructor was so cool. I had a workout buddy that I'll go to these classes with. I felt like I knew the choreography. I felt like I was just feeling myself. It was just so fun. And I had never done it since I left the area where that class was. And I didn't really think about it that way. I didn't really connect to how much I really liked dance. And maybe for you, that's rollerblading. Maybe for you, that's shopping. Maybe for you, that's something more hardcore. Maybe for you, that's something under a barbell. Maybe for you, that's cardio. Whatever it is, there's no right or wrong answer. Maybe it's walking your dog or hanging out with family or friends and going on a walk on the beach and starting to check into what that looks, feels, sounds like for you in the most happy you've ever been in movement. Next, once you got that locked in, what does it look like if you did more of that? Like I said, I was like, oh, I really love dance workouts. And then I never did dance workouts. I can do more dance workouts, and I do now. And it's so fun, and it brings me so much joy. And I just really love getting in a group of people, getting with a group of people and getting in the zone and getting into some choreography and forgetting I'm even moving my body because I'm having so much fun. And that just really fuels my heart, makes me happy. Then the $1 million question, what rules do you have in place for your fitness? So I ask this because if, for example, your joyful workout is walking, I hear all the time, is that a good enough workout? Or this is in air quotes if you're not watching me. Does this burn enough? Does this count? Yes. We don't need to care about burning enough because that's a different tangent. But yes, it counts. It's movement. And I really, really want us to give ourselves space to celebrate that and to find what's fun. And then I hear people address that kind of a concept and they're like, well, yeah, you can just do a longer walk. No, you can listen to your body and do as short of a walk as you want. It's movement. Just do the movement and listen to your body and have fun with it. You don't have to stress the tracking. You don't have to stress the time of everything. There are some studies that have examples of how much movement per week has an impact on your health. Cool. It's about 150 minutes a week, but that's moderate. So if you're doing 4 Orange Theory classes a week and can't give yourself permission to go on a walk because you're scared that that's not enough, we really need to check into that. And 150 minutes a week isn't much when you check into that routine. It's an intention, and it's something that we can definitely carve out time to achieve, but I don't think we give ourselves enough credit in most cases for the movement that we do in our day-to-day. You walk to the mailbox, you walk to your car, you walk from your car to work, you walk around the supermarket, you're standing on your feet cooking, or you're cleaning the house. These things are movement too. And when we forget those things, we hold so much guilt and stress and anxiety around what our fitness routine should look like and has to look like, and force this and force that, that we forget to check into what just serves us. So give yourself some space to explore that and challenge those thoughts if they come up around, is this enough? Am I doing enough? And if you need more support, I'm always an email or text or call or Instagram DM away to talk about it. I also really recommend finding an eating disorder informed therapist and or a non-diet based nutritionist. These are 2 really cool resources to just start to question those thoughts as they come up. And no, again, we're not diagnosing anything. You don't need to have an eating disorder to go to an eating disorder specialized therapist or dietitian. They are just resources there in the wellness space that can help navigate you toward what resonates for you. And it's a really, really cool conversation to have with someone that really gets it. And I really, really do recommend that you explore that. So in summary, my discoveries are in wellness that more obsession more pressure, more guilt about food or fitness is not the answer. I used to think like, oh, if I could just do more, if I could force more, if I could make this happen more, everything would be better. I would achieve my goals. I would do this. I would be happy. I would be confident. I would like what I see in the mirror. That's not true. The deeper stuff is our relationship with ourselves, our fears potentially of weight gain or being in a bigger body, and exploring that, having space to process that and give ourselves the TLC that we deserve to release those beliefs that we've been fed throughout society and challenge them and get mad about them and make change around them. That is just so incredibly confident boosting and so incredibly powerful in your own journey, and such a massive impact on the world in helping other people out of the judgment that they have to go through in their day-to-day. We need to be in this as a team and support and really bring body positivity the justice that it deserves as a whole. Health doesn't need to be a burden. Health is sustainable, flexible, and fun. It's a good thing. It's a positive, happy part of your day. And if it's not working for you. And that's fine. But it also deserves some changes, and it deserves some questioning. And it deserves you being in the driver's seat to figure out what works for you. Knowing that your body is on your team. It's not your arch nemesis. It is not a rival. It is not something to conquer or to force into submission. It is something that you will be in for the rest of your life. So if you treat it like crap, it will hurt you, unfortunately. There's no better way to put it. And treating it like crap doesn't mean rest days and fueling your body. Treating it like crap means ignoring hunger signals and ignoring the signs that it's done working out and ignoring pain when you're in a workout and working out through it anyway. We're so constantly fed the nonsense that treating your body poorly is giving into rest and giving into slowing down. That is so incorrect. So we need to start to treat our body with love and respect and care for it as a partner, as a teammate, as something we appreciate. Ooh, rhyming. And that's when massive change happens. Last but not least, you won't like what you see in the mirror after you lose more weight or gain more muscle. It's the relationship inside that makes the difference. I definitely resonate with this as my body has changed throughout my recovery, throughout my eating disorders. And I constantly was fighting to have a better relationship with the skin that I was in. And I was doing that through a tough relationship with food and movement, trying to fix a problem or solve a problem by changing my physical self. And that never helped, and it never will, and it never does. And what we start to see as we explore this avenue of body positivity and self-care is that if we treat ourselves with love and compassion and figure out what our body is like, what they don't like, what they want, what they don't want, and start to learn how to listen to those signals, which is a lifelong journey. And again, eating disorder therapist and/or non-diet-based dietitian, major key. This is a really, really great place to starting point for you to navigate what it looks like to be on a team with yourself and to be on a team with the skin that you're in. So close your eyes. We're going to do one last exercise. I'm coming to a close, I promise. We are going to lock in a wellness goal. So slowing down, we're taking a big deep breath, and we are starting to check in to a goal that we have. Maybe that goal still is weight loss. That's okay. Maybe that goal is weight gain. Maybe that goal is running faster or lifting more. Maybe if you're already in the body positive sphere, your goal is to have a better relationship with the skin that you're in, or to take care of yourself with love and compassion. Lock one of those in, just one for today. And we are going to create some space to feel what that would feel like to have achieved that. What does that sound like? What does that feel like? What does that look like? What are you sensing? For me, it's a release. It's a lifting. It's a peace, a stillness. It's like a physical weight is lifted off my shoulders and I can breathe again. So now, what if that is already yours to have? What if whatever that goal is, you're already enough as you are? What if whatever that goal is yours today to have and to lock into and to stay present to? You don't have to stress this one anymore. You're more than enough. Blink your eyes open. That's yours to lock in at any point. It's already there. It's already yours. You're more than enough as you are, whether that goal happens or not. You are enough. So with that, I want to talk a little bit about Clarity Fitness. We, again, are Georgia's first body positive wellness center out of Decatur, Georgia. We opened January 2020, right before COVID. We're currently still in COVID. It is, what month is it? October 2021 at the time of recording this video. And we are really working to get connected and supportive of the body positive and eating disorder informed community. We also are a really good fit for people that are frustrated by fitness or aren't gym people or feel like they've tried it all. A lot of times it is so inwardly put that it is our fault or we haven't done enough in the workouts that we've done or the food that we've eaten to accomplish this whole fitness thing. That's totally not true. So what we encourage at Clarity Fitness is exploring what feels good for you. You can see here on this wall, all of our smash scales. We have a big smash scale wall. We don't have any scales in the entire facility. We don't do BMI. We don't do any measurements. We focus on non-scale victories. We have a whole wall of them for you to sign as you accomplish them. And these types of people that feel like they've tried it all or are feeling frustrated, a lot of times it's just that they need a different perspective and some more compassion for themselves to shift into recognizing how incredible they already are. Those interested in group or individual coaching programs, I am a coach of a 10-week body positive course that we do through Clarity Fitness, and we have some incredible community partners that, again, have been doing the work longer and better than I ever will be able to. Incredible people in the community and incredible people that are outside of the community that I would love to send you to as well, just for more support, for more information, for diving into body positivity deeper, and learning more about how you can shift that relationship with yourself. We also work closely with practitioners for people who are struggling with body image, eating disorders, disordered eating, over exercise, or weight loss related concerns that are open to exploring a different approach. So what I really want to flesh out here is that we are able to be on a treatment team for eating disorder related clients. We are able to work alongside non-diet-based dietitians and or therapists to make sure that we're all working together to see this person through to the other side. And by weight loss on that final line, I obviously mean that we will be shifting their perspective away from a weight loss focus. But sometimes people that think that their struggle is weight loss, which I did also at one point when I was deep in my eating disorder, figured out that that wasn't going to improve my life. That wasn't what I actually wanted. I wanted to feel confident. I wanted to feel loved. I wanted to feel like I was taking care of myself. And when I figured out that weight loss wasn't the answer to any of those, in any shape and size of body, in any background, that's not the answer. That was a big game changer. So people that are open to that conversation and want to learn more. So most important takeaway that I hope everyone remembers today is you are more than enough and it's time to change the fitness industry. So thank y'all so much for jumping in today. I appreciate you all tons, and I will see y'all soon. Last but not least, my email is right here and our social media is below. If anyone has any questions, feel free to email me or reach out on social media. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.